Okay, so hi boss. So at first, please introduce yourself to our Korean community.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Edward, and nice meeting you, everybody. I'm Chi, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kite AI, which is building what we call like the base layer for the future of agentic internet. And a little bit about myself, I came from the more Web2 AI background. I did my PhD from UC Berkeley, focused on machine learning and causal inference. And after that, I realized I'm more interested in the startup world. Then I was joined a company as a founding member, actually employee number one, to build what we call like the automated machine learning platform AI startup. And very exciting. In the 2 years, grow the team from one to like three of us to over 200 people. And then in the process, we recognized that in order for enterprise customers, which is what we built for, to adopt AI technology, the data itself is actually the bottleneck, and especially data infrastructure piece. So it's made me then join another company called Databricks, which right now probably one of the largest data and AI infrastructure companies in the world, which is valued over $100 billion already, to lead their product management for data engineer solutions there. And then after that, I co-founded Kite with my co-founder Scott, and that is the short history. Yeah.
Then this is the first challenge in Web3 side, right?
Yes. So definitely.
That is why asking about that, because the Web3 is very broad side and it's a very difficult thing. So as an investor and retailer, we can see that many accidents after the TCE. The CEO resigned and leave their product without responsibility. So please promise about that. So after the TCE, you must not leave the project, right?
Oh my God, yeah. It's honestly speaking, we never knew that was even an option until we got into the crypto space and learned some of the like bad things happened to the projects and community. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that, and that's just not. And also, I think the strong word is our investors, especially the Web2 investors, is going to kill us if we do that. I think they don't want that reputation damage. Yeah.
So when I researched the Kite AI about the information on Kite AI, so the best impression to me is that if there's a big difference about that. Oh, so Kite AI has invested from lead by paper ventures, so not Web3 VC, the Web2 VC. So how is the secret of the lure or the grabbing mind of the paper ventures?
Yeah, very good question. First of all, I think we come from a Web2 background. Yeah. That's definitely one of the reasons why we can speak like the same language with Web2 investors, not only like PayPal, but also like General Catalyst, for example, which is one of the largest ventures in the world with their AUM and heavily into AI. So I think for those investors, we honestly spend more time talking about product and what the concrete use cases and problems that we are solving, rather than talk about tokenomics or the financial side of the thing, which I think sometimes is that's also make the difference between like the Web2 and Web3 VCs. But for PayPal particularly, I think one is because our thesis is actually very aligned with what they are envision the future of the how the internet or how the payment are marching towards, as they're probably one of the largest payment companies in the world. So I think that's aligned with their thesis. And second is, again, I think our background and what we are building makes them believe that this is actually a very strong and compelling solutions to solve that future problems.
Could you also feel the difference from VC with the Web2 and the Web3? What is the difference of them?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because honestly speaking, if you look at our cap table, we have mixed of both. Yeah, so we have some of the Web2 and some of the Web3. First of all, actually, as we just briefly touched in the previous question, I think Web2 VCs, because they are honestly not that familiar with the token or like tokenomics, TG, all those things, they rarely talk about that with us. they talk more on, again, the technology itself, the thesis and the products, and the product roadmap and where you are, and customers. A lot of the questions is regarding like, where is your customer pipeline? Where are they? Who is like gonna do some of the like commercial agreements with you at what time? Which I think is less of a question and less of topics among Web3 investors, which usually are more focused on like the how do you build the ecosystem, the community, and also like the tokenomics and everything. Which I think both of them are very important. And also like Web3 investors is obviously a lot of them also come from actual engineer background and the blockchain background, so they have more understanding about the blockchain type of related technologies, which I think, again, like both of them are very helpful to us because we're building this very unique intersection, but definitely very different DNA and very different focus.
How about you can feel the Web3 people, also not only VC, how about Web3 people? Did you feel some difference between the Web2 company people and Web3 builders? How is the difference?
You mean like the difference between Web2 companies and Web3 builders?
Yeah. So there is some cultural difference from some Web2 company and or Web3 company. So it's a life schedule or some work-life balance and etc. So.
I see. Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. First of all, you mentioned about the work-life balance. I think first of all, actually in Silicon Valley, because that is where we're based. When it comes to like the AI industry, I would say there's no work-life balance either. Yeah, somehow exactly, because everybody's like rushing, right? This is like a once in a life opportunity, we call it, and everybody's like, I don't want to left behind, so we have to work 24/7, which I think is like the Web2 AI side. But Web3, because it's a very global business, because like again, like the retails and institutions are all like from US, from Korean, from China, like different places. It's make the work-life balance very hard itself, because you have to always be up on time, like up and respond and figure out what's going on in the market. So I think that is like the work style perspective. And another thing I found, it's actually very, very different. It's a culture shock to us, honestly speaking, is I think the way that Web2 people think, what does like a big and like a promising means as a company is very different than what Web3 people think, like what big and promising as a company. So essentially, like for example, like we are building a layer 1, right? Like we are building of course we are like building multiple layers. So layer 1 is like the bottom layer, that is essentially very important. But for Web3 people, they would consider like a layer 1 itself is like that's real, like a big infrastructure that has a big like potential TAM and a big like again like a FTV, and people need to think about you are like at that level. But for Web2 people, especially because we are solving for like AI developers some of their problems, like agentic payment and identity problems, then they when we talk to them, they're like, I don't care about blockchain, right? Like blockchain is just a technology. What exactly like that product you are building using that technology to solve the problem for me is what I care about, right? Then we have to talk about, what our identity solutions is about, the payment solutions is about, and all the stuff. But if you talk about identity payments, that things to Web3 builders and communities, sometimes they would call, you are just building a middleware layer, which is actually much like smaller or thinner than the blockchain layer. So it's essentially like a very like a different type of feelings. Yeah.
Different brain infrastructure. So Web3 people, okay, you're layer 1, then you're a big deal. Yeah, so it's a short mechanism. Layer 1, okay. Then we want to talk about more different in layer 1. So you know that already many blockchain is already exist. Yes. So ETH or Solana and Sui and another blockchain. So why we need some AI specialized blockchain?
Very good question. First of all, we consider like this blockchain what we are building have very strong like thesis that we think the future needs, right? We again because we are betting on the future. Internet is operating mainly by the agents rather than human. So there's like a bunch of infrastructure needs or like middleware needs to enable that autonomous agent operation future. So that's why we think like the normal blockchain at the moment is lack of some. For example, we call it like a custom transaction lane for like agentic transactions, which is way probably more like millions of transactions even like per second for like agents to like interact with each other or like services, which is like the traffic the current blockchain probably is not able to handle. And second of all, because this is like regarding, for example, it's about like stablecoin payments used for like agents transactions. So we want to get rid of, or we want to minimize like this gas fee dependency that makes like the transaction fee that they need to pay to a normal layer one blockchain is not stable and not comfortable to make the Web2 AI people to use. And on top of that, we don't want to, for example, we don't want to be a layer 2 in some way because it's really dependent on the finality of the layer 1, which layer 2 can only be, again, like as fast as the layer 1's fidelity, which we think the agentic transactions need much faster than that. And from operational perspective, one, we want to stay very neutral. Don't want to cut into like the blockchain sort of like the war or like a competition among a lot of like the one that you mentioned, Solana, Sui, Ethereum, and all those people, which by the way, we don't think we're competing with them. We're not doing a block space selling business. We're actually coordinating the agentic transactions, which makes us actually very compatible to all those other layer 1, layer 2s, which we some of them we will make announcements soon.
It's helping each other. So you're a role of the hub of many layers for AI blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. So we are not, again, like competing with them for that particular use case. And also one more thing is we think it's in the roadmap that we haven't not like implement that completely that out yet, but we think it's so important is how do you reward, how do you incentivize people in this layer 1 ecosystem? A lot of the normal layer 1, layer 2 are incentivizing like validators for providing staking and security to the chain. But we think that because this is an AI specific blockchain, we should reward more towards like the AI, like those AI contributors or like the AI assets providers rather than just the two like validators who provide security. So I think that's another thing is that's why it makes us want to have a layer 1. Yeah.
So because you're a long period experience in Web2 people, so as a Web2 people, I want to open the Pandora box. So is this token really essential for blockchain?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. That's another question we got a lot from people. So first of all, we definitely think it's very essential for two reasons. One is we treat this as a platform token where like the technologies and solutions we're providing will, again, like in the future, think about the agent, like agent need to interact with other agents or pay for other agents or pay for other services. All those like transactions that is the transaction we want to have settled on Kite. And with that settlements, then like how we are benefit from that, or like how we make money is we have some small like a cut from that, like for example, like how much money that the service side are making, and that is where we essentially think that like the platform token, like the Kite token, is used in that piece. And of course, like the token is very important for us to do like the governance, and we have a unique mechanism of design of the ecosystem is what we call the P2, like the protocol to protocol partnership that we have with a lot of our module partners. And for those module partners, inside there's validators and delegators where we do use tokens to do like the staking and slash for some of the especially bad behaviors. So all of that makes the token actually essential for us. Yeah.
So what is the think of your what is your think about the recent trend of the token? So many projects doing a buyback or some doing some burning mechanism, but someone say about that it is not usable because it is better to invest prep or develop more product. It is better choice. No, buyback and mechanism is better choice. So what is your select?
That's a very good question. I think in some way it's important, both of them are important to us. One is we do think the buyback and the burning mechanism is going to help to control the token float and inflation in this like big economy, which we think that, and also like one of the ways to give back the value to the token holders and community. So that is what we still think that's potentially one of the mechanisms we're going to use. But actually, on top of that is exactly what you mentioned. Especially because we come from Web2. We really believe that the only way to make a token and make a layer 1 ecosystem sustainable is you have more useful products that can onboard more real-world use cases and can have more real traffic that's happening on you, and that is where you can make real money. Like think about Web2 companies, like for example, like Databricks, where I come from. Their ARR was essentially around like a 3 or like 4 billion ARR right now, which they're making real money. They're making platform revenue money, and that is what we want to Kite to be as well. We essentially think that the whole stack that we're building is we call it this decentralized AWS for like agentic internet, and that's we think the money that we make from like the network partially should definitely be used to develop more robust and scalable products for the real world use case.
So I don't know if I understand exactly about the Kite AI. Then when I researched about your project, it can be a platform or some app store with a blockchain for many usable apps with an agentic payment protocol or agentic finance. But if it is right, I think very important about that onboarding usable apps in the Kite AI platform, like not only Web3 application, like Uber or Mac delivery, and so another usable and daily app should be onboarded for real users and real mass adoption. Is it possible to onboard
Yes.
about that?
So first of all, that is actually why I think we got the investment from Web2 VCs. Because if we only focus on Web3 use cases, they will be less interested. I think in the very beginning when we designed this solution, our goal is to go after the mainstream use cases, not just to stay in the Web3 use cases. So essentially, like the first use case, for example, like one of the first use cases we're really tackling with some of the biggest Web2 companies is about the agentic shopping, right? Like how can you use, for example, like ChatGPT to do the grocery store on top of like Amazon, cross Amazon, Walmart, and Shopify, for example, without leaving that interface of the ChatGPT for end users. So that is type of use cases we're enabling rather than just like say Web3, like a cryptocurrency trading use case, which is also one of the use cases we saw some of our partners are using our tech to do. So that's one. So definitely we think that is like the goal here is to onboard honestly like more Web2 use cases than Web3 use cases, because after all, it's a way bigger market compared to the Web3 industry alone. And second of all, on top of what actually I really appreciate that you also studied a bit about Kite's app store and all the stuff. So essentially what we summarize in short, we built like 3 layers of a solution. The bottom is like the Kite AI layer 1 blockchain, and on top of that is the Kite AI platform, which is essentially an abstraction layer that abstract away a lot of like the blockchain like jargons and blockchain specific like APIs or like formats that Web2 developers are not familiar with. So we abstract away with that from using API formats for identity, payment, and all the stuff. And on top of that, because of that suite of tools that every developers now, not only Web3 but Web2 developers are also very familiar with and can easily integrate and use. Now on top of that, that is the app store or marketplace that we think like a lot of like the agents or like a agentic app that can onboard on top of Kite.
Yeah, so I'm so sad we are already lack of time, always lack of time, because this time is very enjoyable. So I think it is the best question to end our AMA, because I saw the news about the Google also launched about the AP2. Yes. Then it means that Kite is rival of Google. So, yeah, right? So how can how can Kite AI defeat the Google AP2?
Yeah.
How can compete with? Yeah.
Yes, actually that's the same day when we saw that, when the announcement was out, we got countless messages, DMs from our friends and our investors, even like, oh, are you guys competing with Google right now? And what's your plan? And, blah, blah, blah. So first of all, we're not competing with that. Actually, surprisingly, and the opposite way to think about this is we are fully the agent payment protocol compatible. Actually, what we consider, what Google, that's why we really love some of the big tech companies, like not only Google, right? Google launched the AP2 and also like the A2A protocol, which is amazing. And also like OpenAI launched for example, Anthropic launched MCP, right? Like all those big companies have defined some really good standard that everybody find it's useful. So how do you consider like the difference between what Google AP2 are focusing on and Kite are focusing on is Google AP2 is essentially we say like they define the what they define the what of like the agent identity and payments, which is essentially like the like the mandates and the compliance side. And for Kite, we are actually define the how parts, where the settlement layer that's really make sure like this agentic transactions and payment and authentications that can be run on an infrastructure. And that infrastructure is neutral, is permissionless, is not controlled by any big, like single company in a way. So that is the difference.
I think that our podcast is like a Web2 podcast. not talk about the token economy, what is the FTP, what is the TG date, but as it is very funny and very informative, so thank you for sharing your insight. It's very good time to know more deeply about what is the product about the Kite AI, what is building on Kite AI, not just talking about layer 1, what is talking about TPS. It's a very good time to share your vision and your history and what is your potential of the Kite AI. Thanks to you. So thank you for the participation in our podcast session. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward, and thank you for everybody who are listening to the podcast.
Okay. Then the next time we meet as a Web3 people, like a many initiative and community event. Can you promise me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.